Hi, I'm Jada Sunier, and today we're going to be talking about something much bigger than another AI assistant. The AI industry has achieved incredible breakthroughs but has also created new problems. AI is becoming expensive, token consumption is exploding, long running agents are breaking down, and companies are spending enormous amounts of money simply keeping agents running. And the question has become, can we build AI that is smarter, more autonomous, more reliable, and dramatically more efficient? And that's exactly what the Cairo team is trying to solve. And today we're joined by ColomboAI founder and CEO Wilfred Quadio and members of the engineering team behind Cairo Conscious Harness.
Thank you for having me here today, Jada. And of course, I'm Wilfred Quadio. I'm here, the CEO and founder of ColomboAI, and also the lead of the Cairo product that we built here.
Everyone is excited about AI agents, but behind the scenes, companies are spending massive amounts on tokens and infrastructure. So, why do you believe the current direction of AI is unsustainable?
As we've seen a company, for instance, like Uber, that blew through their yearly budget of $3.4 billion in less than 3 to 4 months. This is not sustainable, right? If we're going to just reduce our labor force and increase productivity within the enterprise, we need to have something that's much more sustainable. And our company blowing $3.4 billion in less than 3 4 months just on token usage. And for us, as we look deeper, first of all, as an engineer, we've tried to always find a way to make things efficient and much more sustainable. And as we look in architecture, the way things were built prior Cairo, we thought, hey, we have a solution here that we can provide to the whole overall industry and realign the way that things are being built. And for instance, that approach, instead of automatically through every operation to your LLM for reasoning and intelligence, we believe that we could first have what we call a software first approach, where we can have the orchestration and all of the minor things that not necessarily need an LM to be handled out locally first. And then as we go all along, we then, if there's a need for any local model engage, we just route that to the local model. Then again, if you required any more advanced capability, then we get to route that to the frontier models. And that's the really the vision that drives us here at ColomboAI. And we believe that by focusing on engineering, we believe that we can solve that sustainability for AI token usage, and in many cases provide a more efficient process to users and company, and reduce tremendously their compute usage.
All right. And when you started Cairo, what was the first principle you wanted to challenge?
The first principle was initially for us to bring accessibility to a billion of people globally. We want to make sure that nobody was left out because they will have to spend a tremendous amount of money to be able to have access to run automation, run a build agentic product. We want to make sure that as we all know, as first of all, there's a very shortage of compute access, even within the high pay scalers. And I want to make sure even the small, medium-sized business, the everyday users, they have access to AI that they can run not just locally, but also with a great engineer product. They will be able to sustain the operation without spending a tremendous amount of money. So again, to answer your question, was a great accessibility to people. Want to make sure that we provide AI at a greater scale, where financial was not a factor into that.
All right. And you often talk about democratizing autonomous intelligence. What does that actually mean?
Okay, it's a simple fact to make sure that everyone, I'm referring to businesses, individual, no matter how much access they have to compute, they should be able to have access to this great tool and increase the day-to-day productivity across operation. And if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a student, whatever you are, by providing a solution, people should be able to have access to this great engineering innovation without to burn other saving and tremendous amount of capital to be able to increase the productivity. And that's what I believe, that we can democratize that by applying a great engineering innovation and make that very accessible to everyone.
Yeah, and if today's AI systems require thousands of dollars on infrastructure, what does Cairo change?
Oh, Cairo literally bring the bill to almost to zero, right? And but as we can see, for instance, a couple of weeks ago, we have seen NVIDIA. They launched it, I believe, it was called the RTS Spark, right? That will be, which is, I believe, is a new revolution in computers that we have seen since the last 40 years. Now we're gonna be people in the video will have very powerful computer that will have in many cases resemble the capability of the data center that we see all across the world. And we believe that with this innovation, for instance, from NVIDIA, and also for us here, create the architecture that's majorly built on software first approach and low code model first. And of course, what we call a hybrid inference in case we require to pull up a frontier model. We believe that this process of, as people are spending 30,000 per month, our process can bring that almost to a zero cost for the average user. And so that idea of sustainability is very important for us.
We're going to move over to our first engineer, Swampil Parwar. How are you?
Hi Jed, I am doing good. How about you?
I'm pretty good. So my first question is going to be, so most AI agents struggle with long-running projects, and why do you think that is?
I think the biggest reason is that most of the AI systems in current scenario were designed around the conversations. They are great at helping you in the moment. You ask a question, they give an answer, and the interaction ends. But real work usually doesn't work that way. If you are building a company, launching a product, conducting research, or managing operations, those aren't the tasks that take few minutes or even few days. They can last for months or years. The challenge is that as an AI system keeps operating, more context builds up, more decision gets made, and more information has to be managed. Eventually, that starts affecting the performance. So the system becomes less efficient because it's carrying the weight of everything that came before. I sometimes compare it to asking to stay awake and focused forever. At some point, the performance starts to decline. That's one of the biggest challenge in agentic AI today. The real work lasts months and years, and AI has to evolve to operate on that same timescale.
All right, thank you. Next question is going to be, what exactly are infinite long horizon tasks?
Yeah, the way I like to explain the infinite long horizon task is that they are our approach to the long-term intelligence of our Cairo. Most of the AI systems assume one agent is going to handle everything from start to finish. We start asking a different question. What if the mission could continue even as the intelligence working on it evolve? That's really the core idea. The objective stays the same, but the intelligence executing that objective doesn't have to remain exactly the same forever. As a project grows from hours to days, weeks, or even years, Cairo can continue moving towards the same goal without being limited by a single conversation, a single context video, or a single agent. One phrase we use internally: we are not building the AI that survives a conversation. We are building the intelligence that sustains a mission. For me, that's the real shift. Instead of optimizing for interactions, we are optimizing for the outcomes over long periods of time.
All right, and what is DNA inheritance?
So, DNA inheritance is probably one of my favorite concepts because it's actually pretty initiative once you think about it. When a new swarm takes over a part of a mission, we don't want it to start from zero. At the same time, we don't want it to handle every single conversation, every token, and every piece of history that ever existed. So instead, we transfer what actually matters. That includes things like objectives, strategies, lesson learned, important decisions, progress that has been made and the key knowledge gathered along the way. I often describe it as a passing wisdom instead of passing the raw data. One of our internal phrases is that instead of carrying infinite context, Cairo carries forward distilled intelligence. That allows continuity without creating the overhead that usually comes with long running AI systems. The knowledge stays with the mission, but the intelligence remains efficient and focused.
And why is that breakthrough so important?
Yeah. So the breakthrough is important because of the types of problem people want AI to solve are changing at a rapid scale. A few years ago, most people wanted AI to answer questions or help write a simple content. But today, people want AI to help build projects, manage the projects, conduct research, support the operations, and even grow their business. Those aren't short-term activities; they are ongoing efforts. If AI is going to become a true operational partner, we can't fall apart when a project gets large or when a timeline strays from days into months. That's why I think this matters the most, the DNA inheritance. The real work lasts for months and years. AI needs to be able to operate on the same time scale. For us, infinite long horizon tasks aren't just another feature, they are the part of the foundation for what long-term autonomous systems needs to become.
And what excites you most about the future?
Yeah, what excites me is that we are standing to think beyond conversations. Right now, most people experience AI through individual interactions. You ask something, it responds, and that's the end of the cycle. But imagine launching a project and having the intelligence that keeps working towards that objective over weeks, months, or even years. It learns from what happened yesterday, adapts to the new information, preserves the important knowledge, and continues moving the work forward. That's a completely different model. Instead of AI being something you occasionally use, it becomes something that continually contributes to an objective. And honestly, I think that's where the industry is healing. Today, AI is very good at completing tasks. What we are excited about is the idea that tomorrow's AI can help sustain the operations. At its core, the infinite long horizon tasks are really about turning the AI from a tool into a continuously operating intelligence systems. That's the future we are building towards.
All right. Thank you so much for those answers, Swapnil.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. We're going to move over to Andrew Lee. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. All right. And one of the biggest concerns in AI today is the cost. Companies are spending millions on interference, and many AI agents consume enormous amounts of tokens. And you believe that the industry is approaching this problem the wrong way. And why do you think that?
Well, yeah. I mean, like scaling laws are definitely a thing. Bigger models tend to be better. But not all problems require a large model. There's plenty of small things that small models can do. You can definitely train smaller models to do like tool calling and that sort of thing. Yeah. And then of course, more token doesn't really mean better intelligence. It just means you're spending more time thinking, and sometimes that's not always the best choice. And also, yeah, it's also better to be concise at times. Overall, current AI is pretty hard to scale, just in the sense that, I mean, it overall scales pretty linearly at a pretty high rate of usage, and especially for like agentic cases, we're not just prompting and then getting a response and continuing with that. You're having a massive expanding context length. We need something a lot more efficient there.
Yeah, and what is hybrid inference, and why is it so important to Cairo?
Yeah, the overall idea of hybrid inference is basically like rather than just routing everything through the large language model or really the frontier model to start with, we go through first any software, then we try for any smaller models, maybe something that can be run locally on the personal machine, and then pull for any API and larger models, self-hosted, whatever. But the overall idea is to use the cheapest intelligence first. Software is pretty cheap to run. You don't need GPUs for that usually. Same thing and local models, you don't need much GPUs. GPUs are the main issue for cost. And then as needed, escalate. Really, I guess overall, for like a hard question, it might be like, it's using more compute than if you just ask the hard model directly, of course. But not all questions, or not all problems are hard. If we take it overall, the overall compute usage would be less.
What is the ultimate vision behind hybrid inference?
Yeah, I guess the ultimate vision, kind of like Wilfred said, is kind of democratizing this sort of system of agentic AI. The current systems benefit companies with a lot of money, and yeah, and even for those, they're spending millions more than they really need. And so yeah, we're kind of aiming to make Cairo kind of a sort of accessible intelligence. Basically taking this sort of system and making it, given that it's a lot more lower compute, a lot more lower cost, and allowing other people to achieve those same benefits.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, of course, very much, Jada, for this great question. And we're pleased that we gave to the audience a great insight of what we build here at ColomboAI, and of course, through our flagship product, Cairo.
We'll start with you, Wilfred. What is the bigger misconception people have about AI today?
They believe that you have to have the biggest model to have the best agentic product. But as far as we've seen, OpenClaw just started late last year, 2025. We noticed that if you build a great harness, you can just have a very powerful agentic operation, right? And based on that engineering, we now see products like Hermes and it goes so forth. And for us, we believe that's why Cairo really want to take the next step forward, right? After we have the OpenClaw, the Hermes, what comes next, right? And how can we just create that for people? And the two things we focus on, return on result immediately, is the cost of what people spend currently in agentic AI, and also resolving the long horizon tasks, which we build that with our chain swarm intelligence protocol that we build here at ColomboAI, right? So now we have what we call, we're very proud to say that now we resolve the infinite long horizon tasks, and also the cost of compute. So those things are very important to us.
All right, thank you, Wilfred. We're going to come back to you, but I'm going to move over to Swapnil now. All right, what's one to describe Cairo and why?
Yeah. For Cairo, based on the themes. So one word to describe Cairo is like, Cairo is being built to operate, adapt, and execute the increasing independence based on the AI models.
All right. Thank you for your answer. We're going to move on to Andrew. And what's the most exciting capability being built right now?
Yeah, I guess overall, probably just this whole system. I think it's really interesting. I don't think there's really any other system out there right now that can deal with these sorts of long horizon tasks, and especially on local. You have a lot of people, especially local users, who kind of assume that you have to pay a subscription fee or API key costs or token costs in order to use these sorts of things. But I think people would be surprised at how well smaller models can do that. They can just run on their own local machines.
All right, thank you. And Wilfred, we're going to come back to you now. What does Cairo become in 10 years?
In 10 years, we want to make sure we become the most versatile agentic platform that will most likely, if you think for an operator, right? anybody across our industry, across fields, will be the most versatile operator people will be using. Meaning that if you think of a great software engineer that will want to use a great product to build things, and of course, Cairo offer this capability today. You would think of the average user that want to use something that don't know how to code, that want to use something like a course. We offer the best capable product in this class today also for that. Somebody that want to use something like a Cairo code, of course, we also offer that through all-in-one interface. So the idea, of course, we want to make sure that when people think about, hey, an affordable agentic harness for them to do the operation and everything that they want to automate, even as we go all along, also we have a product for also physical AI, right? Which we believe that that great innovation that we put in Cairo can also expand not just in digital AI but also physical AI. So not just that we're going to power also digital AI but also physical AI, and also continue with main access to provide accessibility to people all over the world, and also in companies and enterprises all over the world should be able to have access to this great innovation that we build here, and also continue to become the most versatile platform possible.
Today's AI industry is focused on making models bigger. The Cairo team is focused on making intelligence more accessible. And the future may not belong to the company with the most computers. It may belong to the company that can make autonomous intelligence affordable, sustainable, and available to everyone. And that's exactly the future Cairo is building.